like you say you were in an abusive relationship when you were in Philly,
Yeah.
and you ended up writing a book about
Yeah.
that situation. Like, if you can just like, I don't want to say go into the details of it, but like, first of all, like, you have a lot of courage for like leaving that situation, because I know a lot of women are afraid and don't know what to do.
Hmm.
And I think it's really important that you wrote that book, because it's going to connect with a lot of women out there, and even some men, like a lot of
Yeah.
people who are experiencing
Yeah.
domestic violence.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, so like I just want to just touch on that a little bit, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. So the book is called Overcoming Intimate Partner Violence. And it's a collection of essays that I wrote during the process of me overcoming it. And
Hmm.
it was amazing because, like, once it was published, I really just felt so, like, a weight lifted off of me. Like,
Right.
it didn't affect me anymore. Like, I
Hmm.
wasn't hurting anymore. So, but the book is about, like, the different perspectives and steps that I had to take to mentally free myself.
And what were those steps that you took?
There were several, but some that I can name are one is just checking myself
Hmm.
and realizing, that I'm insecure and that I need to work on myself, because why am I blaming myself for someone else's limitations?
Mm.
And why am I allowing someone to have that type of control over me?
Right.
And then the other thing was self talk is so important. My inner voice wasn't even my voice anymore.
Wow.
My inner voice, well, it was my voice, but it was someone else's words telling me, like, this is the best you're going to have. You need to be
Wow.
content with this. You need to make
Wow.
this work because it's never going to get better. So yeah, self-talk. I had
Man,
to
so
retrain my brain to talk to myself, like to tell myself that I'm amazing and I'm deserving,
yeah, how
right?
did you do that? Was it like you do the affirmations, or like?
So I actually I didn't do affirmations. Um it was actually sound therapy. So
Mm.
I was going to counseling, and my therapist like taught me a specific, and it's been so long since I did it, right? Because that's part of retraining your brain. But she taught me like a frequency to
Yes.
listen to,
Frequencies, yeah.
and then say certain things. So said some affirmations, but just to say, it was like really like one sentence that I would say to myself. Like, it was just like, I'm amazing, you are loved, and you deserve the world. But like at that
Wow.
frequency, and then I would do like breathing exercises. I would
Mm-hmm.
breathe at a specific type of pattern that she taught me. And while I was breathing, I would be thinking those things, and it completely rewired my brain. Like,
Wow.
I'm a completely different person now.
Wow.
Yeah,
How long did that process take?
a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was times where I didn't want to do it. I felt really silly. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not gonna be doing this breathing stuff, but I did it,
But you did it.
and
You
it worked.
followed through. It
Yeah, it
worked. You
worked.
retrained your brain,
Yeah.
and it gave you the wherewithal to be like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah. Or just, I'm not going backwards. Because you can leave. A lot of times, what happens is you leave a situation like that and just get into a new one that's like
Mm-hmm.
almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Getting this cycle.
yeah, getting in the cycle. So, for me, it was just like moving on and just like seeing the world as my oyster.
Right.
For real, for real.
For real, for real.
Yeah.
And then you wrote that beautiful book, man.
Yeah. I love the book. I love the book. People have told me it's like very relatable.
Right.
So, men and women.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just helpful because people don't realize, like, a lot of people don't realize the steps that come before the physical aspect of the violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't realize things are violent even if they're not physical, right? So, emotional abuse, that's a type of domestic violence,
Right.
right? Financial abuse is a form of domestic violence. And so I think
Wow.
people should look into words more because, I was a philosophy major.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, words have more connotations and meanings than we think. And so, when people say domestic violence, they're like, oh, well, he hasn't hit me, so it's not that. And I'm like, no, like, violence doesn't just mean like physical abuse.
Right.
And there are things that happen before it gets physical that you can see. And they're
Mm-hmm.
basically red flags. But if you don't know what they are, then you don't know what's coming.
Right.
So I just think it's really important to educate young people on what those red flags are. I wish someone had told me.
Man, if you can just give a couple red flags for the listeners out there.
Okay, I would say controlling, telling you things about yourself that you don't that you know are not true. Because what that does is it that's rewriting your inner voice. It's like training you to say those things that I was saying. This is all you can get. This is the
Right.
best you're gonna have. You know. So when someone's telling you things and you don't agree with it, and they're like saying it over and over, almost to convince you to get it, stop that in its tracks, because that's very harmful. It's very violent, and
Right.
it can take a long time for you to come back from that.
No facts.
It can take a lifetime. Some people never do.
Man, that's very true because I've been in a space where I was in a domestically violent relationship. Man, she putting hands on me, Karlèh. She putting hands on me, but it was hard, and like a lot of those red flags you say were in the beginning of the relationship, and I'm like just brushing it under the rug, like we'll
Yeah.
figure this out. She just got to learn how to treat me, but no, it just got progressively worse till it got to that point where she started putting her hands on me, and that was crazy.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't talk to hit no woman, so like
Yeah.
it got to the point like I had to be like, look, bro, I don't hit women, but I swear if you do that again, I'm gonna fight you, bro. Like straight
Yeah,
up.
and that's so fair. And that's when I was a teacher, I used to work with my girls on that a lot. Like, stop hitting these boys. It's not fair because they are bigger than you. So, first of all, it's not a
Yeah.
fair fight. Second of all, we tell them not to hit you guys because they're bigger than you. So,
No facts. And then like how you said, like I had to reprogram my mind too because there were good things about that relationship that would make me stay and
yeah,
continue the cycle. But then I started practicing the philosophy of being good to yourself. And my uncle Ricky taught me that. And when I started practicing that and really like understanding what that meant for me, like I started like reprogramming my mind, and I was changed to the point where it's like it got to the point I didn't want no parts of that.
yeah,
I didn't want no parts of that. And there's no disrespect to that young lady because I'm sure she's past that. She's healed and done her work too. And it's all love. But at the time, it was just like, bro, I'm good. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That happened. And I'm still seeing certain patterns. It's like, I can't, gotta wash my hands.
yeah, for sure.